Okay, welcome to Philosophy Online Lecture. Today we'll be talking about cynicism and understanding their philosophy in regards to nature as opposed to a worked out philosophy. Now, a brief background about cynicism. Cynicism actually was founded by uh, Tennis, who was a disciple of Sophist Georgias, and if going further in his work, we understand that they had some ideas about Sufism too, but he later became a disciple of Socrates, and he considered himself as the true spiritual heir of Socratic teaching, as opposed to Plato, who was considered as a played Socrates' foremost student. Now, when we say cynicism is more of understanding of nature rather than a worked out philosophy, we're talking about the cynics being more concerned about life itself, more about the natural world, and not ideas that were actually made up. So that is the major point here. They were not propounders of ideas that were actually made of man-made ideas of our beliefs or of our desires. No, they were more closer to the natural aspect of life. So, moving forward, the cynics glorified doing what is natural and were always against all society conventions, claiming that they were artificial and tyrannical. That is, they see everything that maybe it is laws or ideas or materials by the society as what is actually artificial and not natural, and then the societal laws are tyrannical. If we have read about Sufism, uh, buying the natural law more than the societal law that were actually tyrannical and not natural. Yeah. So the cynics also thought that happiness is found in virtue, and the only way you can attain virtue is by freeing yourself from every possession of the world, from every material gain of the world, from and they also saw fame, wealth, freedom, pleasure as things that are not of value. They saw those things as things are not of value but vanities, and to them, being poor, being having shame, having illness and death, it is not evil to them. So we can say that the cynics are, like, because their philosophy influenced the Stoics and the Christians. Now, I want to use this as an example. Maybe we'll understand it better. These cynics are more like extreme SUs. SUs Christian that they hold on to their faith and they condemn everything materials of the world, every laws of governments that are man-made. You understand? So that is how the cynics actually were, more of nature, understanding of nature rather than a worked out philosophy. Now, moving further, we got to know that the cynics thought that there is one. They taught people that there is one God, and this God is best practiced by practicing virtue, that this God is best worshipped by practicing virtue, by doing what is good, and not just going to church or obeying one pastor. For all those things, either church or pastors, they are man-made. It is not the making of God. Temples, prayers, rituals, all those things are man-made. So that is on their part of their idea. The cynics' commitment to otherworldliness and freedom from fleeting desires was a model for the Stoics and later the Christians. Now, moving further, the cynics were very critical of the society. They see the society as a foolish set of people. They always go to the streets and preach condemning the acts and the materials of the society. One of the most famous cynic who was very, very brutish in his word was Diogenes, who compared himself to a dog. Now, comparing to himself to a dog, it means that he is, because dogs are can live without all these materials of the world. So the dog is an animal that has the ability to stick with the bare essentials without the without having to go through the laws of the world or the materials of the world. So that is why he likened himself to a dog. Now, one another funny thing about the series was that the first one that I mentioned earlier, anti tennis, he said that he preferred to have madness, to be a victim of madness than to desire, because madness is a natural condition rather than a man-made and states, rather than going for desires. You understand? So he prefer to fall victim to madness than to desire. So that is how extreme these people were. Now, uh, going back to Diogenes, who compared himself to a dog, he once went out in the afternoon, and held a lantern. This lantern, he said that he was looking for an honest man. So he said how these people were very, very funny, condemning the society. They were not concerned about putting on flashy things. Like I read in this book, they had a trademark tattered poncho. A poncho is like a garment with just a neck, you understand, and a leather pouch that is a small bag. So that is who the cynics were. And Diogenes, he once had an encounter with Alexander the Great, a period where he was outside in the afternoon under hot sun. So Alexander the Great saw him and said, young man, how can I help you? How can I wouldn't you mind if I give you a royal treatment? You understand? But cynic replied him and said, stand out of my light. So this reflects how they are not concerned about desires and then worked out ideas, but about being in a natural condition. So but we should also note that the cynic's extreme behavior should not be allowed to cover or eclipse the highly spiritual and admirable ethical concern at the core of their outlook. That is, if you say, okay, because SUs are more extreme in their behavior, that shouldn't rule out the fact that they had a true spiritual belief and are more concerned about ethics, about values. Now, although Diogenes, who we are talking about, was a contemporary of Aristotle, he had the spirit of the Hellenistic age. And if you listen to the previous videos which I did, the Hellenistic age was a period where people were more independent, looking for an escape through resignation, a pursuit of personal virtue, and not like the period of Aristotle, in which he viewed the city state as a necessary condition for human existence, where humans have to come together and live together. But Diogenes was his ideas, although a contemporary of Aristotle, but his ideas was more reflected more of the Hellenistic period, where people were had the concern for their independence and against the worldly desires and liberation from the narrow confines of one's culture. That is freedom from the societal beliefs and culture that the society has already put in place. So I hope this helps you understand more of cynicism stance towards natural life as against the worked out philosophy. Thank you for listening to. Please subscribe and stay tuned for more lectures. I love you.